Hey everybody, it's Margaret with Texas Gal Treasures and also Earthworms and Marmalade. This one is going up for Earthworms and Marmalade as well. I am going to bring you the Fig and Habanero Jam. If you can see, I'm already getting a little warm. We've got the big pot already over there sanitizing and sterilizing the jars, but I wanted to show you my prep because really that's, for me, what usually takes the longest in the jams and jellies is the prep beforehand and the cleanup afterwards. Whew. But you know, it's worth it for the whole year to have all these yummy jams, jellies, pies, and all the things that you can make and save for the rest of the year. So I kind of prep like a doctor. So right next to my stove, I have a nice towel laid out nice and clean, and I have my funnel, my gel, and this is the measuring device that I'll use to make sure I get enough headspace in my jars. And so when the jars come out, when I'm filling the jars, this is where I'll do it. This is also my prep station where I'm cleaning, cutting my figs. I've got to go pick a little bit more. And now here you can see I use Awatani. It's a butane burning stove. And this is the type of butane. It's like this kind of butane. You can order it online or you can get it at Academy. Now the reason I use this, one is because when I got, my stove, this particular glass top stove, I can't can on it because the cooktop I have right here. So this is my cooktop. And the reason I can't can on it is because the glass won't maintain a consistent heat. And it heats up and it cools down, heats up and cools down over and over so that it doesn't crack this glass. And with canning, you have got to maintain that boiling temperature for a certain amount of time to kill off any parasites that are inside the jars and to make sure that you get that proper seal on the jar to make sure that your food is preserved for, a year or more. So, let me see. And over here, I've got, this is where when my jars come out of the bath, they go over here to cool, and we'll listen for the little pops or pings when they seal up. And then down here, I've got, this is my magnet for pulling out the lids, you'll see in a minute. And then this is my jar grabber. It comes with this little basket, this particular canning pot. But I don't like grabbing those metal handles that have been boiling in the hot water. So I never really use it. I just use my grabber. Alright, so we have to make a little adjustment to our Fig Habanero Jam. We had bought some habaneros, they went bad, so my husband ran to the store to get some more, and guess what? They were out. So he got some Scotch Bonnet peppers, which are in the same heat scale range as the habanero, and I'm going to give him the job of seeding those and deciding how many seeds are going into this puppy, because that's where the heat is, mostly. Also, another little hiccup in the plan. Here we go, I'll show you. So here's the other little hiccup that we've got in our plan is I am using my blender rather than a food processor because literally last week I went through a clean out frenzy and I said, why do we have this food processor still? We never use it. It has been 2 years and we have not used this thing. We have got to sell it and get rid of it. And so we did. And then today I'm making Fig Habanero Jam, and guess what I need? A food processor. So I'm gonna have to do batches in my blender and make sure it all gets mixed up. You know what? It's all gonna end up in the pot together anyway, so as long as it gets all blended up, that's what's important, right? Okay, so for the recipe, you need about 4 pounds or so of figs, 4 or 5. About 4 habaneros, and I think we're going to try maybe 3. They scare me. 3 or 4 of these Scotch Bonnet peppers, Granny Smith apple, 8 cups of sugar. I don't usually use all the sugar required for the recipe, and then real lemon or lemon juice. But it takes a cup and a quarter, so it's a lot of lemon juice. I usually use this Sure Gel that is no sugar needed, because I like to adjust the amount of sugar that goes in, because most jam jelly recipes call for way more sugar than I like to use. Alright, so we have got our figs, mostly pureed, added a few more, and we decided to go with 2 of the Scotch Bonnet peppers because my husband took a little fingernail sliver slice of one, and whoo, it was hot. So we decided that you can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's mixed together. So 2 peppers is what we went with. Here we go. All right, so I think it's enough. What did you say?
I said if it's not painful, it's not good.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is tingling, and it was good.
Yes.
All right, so we decided on 2 this time, and I convinced him 2 because I want to be able to taste it to see if it's sweet enough. And he said, you know, okay, needs more, but it's already pretty spicy to me. And so if it's good and he likes it, then I'll make another batch with 3 or more in there. But we'll see. Also, it's really sweet already because of the figs. And the recipe calls for 8 cups of sugar, which is why I don't use the regular Sure-Gel. I use the no sugar needed Sure-Gel, so that I can really adjust and play with the amount of sugar I put in there because it's already really, really sweet. Alright, so here we've got our fig, apple, peppers, the lemon juice, 1 cup of the sugar, and then it calls for about half of a packet. It's about 3/4 of an ounce of Sure-Gel. And then once this goes in, I'm going to kind of just eyeball it, about half of a packet. Once that goes in, we got to get it to a boil, a rolling boil that won't, stop when it's stirred. And then I'll show you my trick to know if it's ready. Oh, but we still have to add the rest of the sugar in. And I've got to taste it. And I'm scared of tasting it. But I'm going to have to taste it. Look, you can see the peppers in there. Can you see it? Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to taste it. I bet it won't be so bad. Right? It won't be so bad. So this is what the Scotch bonnet looks like. I'm going to put my fingers next to it. So they're not super big. They're about the same size as the habanero, just green. The fumes are burning my eyes. And I'm getting hot. This is part of jamming and canning. You get hot. Hot stove, hot boiling pot of water over there. You're gonna get hot and sweaty and red. And apparently if you're making habanero or pepper type jams, your eyes are gonna burn. So I've had this plate in the freezer, and then I put a little freezer pack underneath it. I'm going to ladle some of the jam onto the plate and to see if it's gelled up. It cools off and then should not run down the plate. I'll show you. Alright, so I've got a little bit of the jam on the... I've ladled some of the jam onto the plate. I'm letting it cool for just a second on my frozen plate and cold pack underneath. And when I lift the plate up, it should not run. See how it's real slow? Okay, so that... I mean, the further it cools, the more it's going to jam. So this is probably ready to go into the jars. Here we go. I guess I have to test it to make sure that it's okay. Or it doesn't need sugar. Here we go. Whew. It tastes good. It's got a little kick. Alright, you can see the bubbling and how slow and thick and bubbly it is. I mean, that's another sure sign that it is ready to go. So I have all my jars lined up over here. I've got my funnel. And I want to give it 1/4 of an inch or so headspace, so when it expands, it won't, you know, crack the jar, and there's room for it to do its thing. So here it is. There's all the jars. So here we've got the jam in the jars. The next step is to clean off the edges, make sure there's no jam along the edges. So you just get a damp towel and run it along all of the edges of the jars. That one didn't work. So the next step is to take my magnet, reach in there and get the lids. This hot water has gotten the glue on the edges of these real tacky, so they are ready to seal my jars up. So here they've got all the lids on. The last thing you do before you put them in the bath, the water bath, is you screw on the jar, the other part of the lid, but you don't want to tighten it real tight because you need it needs to have room for any air bubbles that are trapped inside to escape. So you just kind of put it on loosely, and then I mean, make sure this part's on there good, you know, and then these ones don't go on super tight because, like I said, air bubbles. Here they are in the hot water bath, And I'm gonna wait for it to really get to a good boil before I start my time. They need to steam for 10 minutes. So once I really see a good rolling boil going, then I'll start the time. If you see these little air bubbles escaping, that's somewhat normal. The air bubbles are escaping from the pans, the jars. There you go, did you hear that one? Pop. Boop. That's when it suctions down, so like the top is up. That one just popped down. Let's see if this one will do it for us. There it goes, it went. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the rest of the jars. So we ended up with, how many? 6, so 10 half pints of Scotch, Bonnet, and Fig Jam. How do you say delicious? I guess you just say delicious. Yum. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I got real tired and got busy cleaning up last night and forgot to do the closing on the video. But here it is, the Fig Scotch Bonnet Pepper Jam. And as you can see, I've already got a lot of people asking for some. I've got a friend buying some. One jar is actually going with my family over to England to my cousin who really wants some. So this is for you. Well, this is not for you, Andrew, but Andrew, one's coming your way. And then what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so basically we have 2 jars. We're gonna have to make some more is what's happening here. But I want to make some not spicy as well because I want to be able to enjoy it. And you know, the kids won't really eat it if it's super spicy. So there it is. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Find me on Facebook at Texas Gal Treasures, and be sure to go out and enjoy yourselves. I know I will. Bye.